Hello Internet, and welcome back to my reviews of the John Wick films leading up to John Wick Chapter 4. Today we're going to take a look at John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. This is the only film in this series that has a subtitle at the end of it. Parabellum is a reference to an old Roman military quote, Si vis pacem parabellum, which translates to, if you want peace, prepare for war. So the full title of this movie should be John Wick Chapter 3, Prepare for War. Released on May 17, 2019, John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum shows John Wick on the run after being declared excommunicado at the end of the second movie. That means he's got a huge bounty on his head placed by the High Table. The Continental can no longer help John with his quest for revenge. This movie features the return of not only Keanu Reeves, but also Ian McShane, Lance Reddick, may he rest in peace, Lawrence Fishburne, and a familiar face across Hollywood, Halle Berry as an old friend of John's, and owner of the Continental Hotel in Casablanca.
Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine.
As much as I love that movie, that's not what I mean by Casablanca. I was talking about the city in Morocco, not the 1942 classic starring Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, and Paul Henreid. The movie starts off with John Wick having until 6 p.m. to run away before he's hunted down by the High Table when he's officially declared excommunicado. So he visits the New York Public Library, where he retrieves a marker medallion and a rosary, and it gets into a fight with an assassin who he kills with a library book. Too bad that book is not To Kill a Mockingbird. If it was, then that would be funny as hell. But unfortunately, the guy who he killed is not a mockingbird. In the ensuing fight, John is injured and he seeks a doctor to help heal him. While he's in the middle of being healed, he is declared excommunicado, and he has no other choice but to heal himself. He then runs into a stable with horses, and he has one of the horses kick one of the assassins to the ground. And he even rides away on a horse onto the street in one of the coolest fight scenes in the movie. Afterwards, John seeks safe passage into Casablanca after meeting with the director. And that's when we learn that his real name is Jardani Jovanovic. So he makes it to Casablanca where he meets with Halle Berry. We are then introduced to an adjudicator from the High Table who gives Winston and Lawrence Fishburne 7 days to resign, just for aiding and abetting John Wick. And anybody who assists him is going against the High Table. We see that John formed a blood oath with Halle Berry, and she's indebted to help him, no matter how many times she says no. She also has a couple of attack dogs who help her and John out in an ensuing fight. She then drives him out to the middle of the desert, then she ditches him with no water or food. And that's the last we see of Halle Berry. He then passes out from the heat and he's brought to the Elder where he severs his ring finger as a sign of loyalty to the High Table. Meanwhile, Lawrence Fishburne gets 7 slashes since he refused to resign his position. John then returns to New York, where he meets with Winston. That's when the adjudicator declares the New York Continental Hotel deconsecrated, which means that it's no longer a safe haven to members. It allows people to conduct their business wherever they please. And that's when Keanu Reeves references an iconic scene from The Matrix.
Guns. Lots of guns.
Winston agrees to help John, and in the ensuing fight against the High Table enforcers, we hear a classical tune played on a record player, The Four Seasons by Vivaldi, the winter segment. That's when Winston drops the title of the movie, Si vis pacem parabellum. Sharon and John try unsuccessfully to fight them off, till they use armor-piercing rounds. Then we get the final fight sequence involving tons of breaking glass, sword swinging, and blood being spilled. This movie is rated R for a reason, folks. This is definitely one of the coolest looking fight sequences in the entire John Wick series of films. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Chapter 4 has to offer. The adjudicator agrees to a parlay where Winston pledges his allegiance to the High Table, and where Winston shoots John, leaving him to die. Soon John is brought to Lawrence Fishburne, who survived the slashes, and they both agree to go after the High Table together. I'm giving John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum another 10 out of 10. The action sequences were way more exciting compared to the first 2 films, and the visual style was top-notch, especially the final fight sequence. Keanu Reeves continues to shine as Baba Yaga, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this continues as Keanu Reeves takes one final stand against the High Table. Stay tuned for my upcoming review of John Wick Chapter 4 coming this weekend. Unlike this video and the 2 I made before it, it will be entirely spoiler-free. Till then, I'll see you all next time.